Hi guys, in today's video I'm doing a side part sew-in. Now some items you're going to need for your sew-in is a weaving net, some good hair scissors, some needle and thread, and then you're also going to need a good rat tail comb. I wanted to show you guys my braid down. Now I'm doing a side part, so those two braids you saw in the front is where my leave out's going to be, and then the rest is going to be sewn down. Now I'm going in with my net and I'm going to sew down around the perimeter and everywhere else that is not where my leave out is at. And when I do this part, I like to do it in sections. So I start with the front braid and I braid it all the way around to the back, which you guys will see in these next few clips. And when I am sewing, I'm not doing like big, large sewing like threads. I'm doing them very close together so that when I actually go in and sew my hair down, nothing comes undone. That's very important when you guys are going to, or if you were to do your own sewing and you're going in to sew anything down. So I personally recommend you sewing very close together just to prevent any of that happening. Now honestly, it is my preference to use a net because with the net, not only does it protect my hair, but I tend to have very fine hair, so it also fills in those gaps when I am sewing my hair down, which is very helpful. Now, some people use the net, some people don't, but it's just my preference. And also, I like to use a lot of bundles when I go in and when I go in and sew my hair down. So with this net and having me or helping me fill in all the gaps, it also helps me to be able to use more bundles as well. And we love a full head of bundles. And the bundles that I'm gonna be using in today's video is the Triippy Raw Amazon bundles. You guys will see me install them later down in the line in the video, but for right now we're working on our base, which is sewing down this net. As you guys seen, now I'm starting to sew around the perimeter of where my leave out is at. I started in the front and then I work my way all the way around and sew down all the way around just to make sure that everything is nice and tight. And I'm kind of using my fingers as a guided way because as you guys can see, I'm not looking at a mirror or anything and I can't see what I'm doing, so that's why you might see my fingers covering up my braids, but I honestly use my fingers as a guide just to cover up, or not cover up, but touch my braids to see basically where I'm at and use it as a guide. But like I said, I sew down the perimeter and go all the way around, so I'm working my way all the way to the other side. Then I'm going to work my way to the front and then sew all the way around to the back just to complete the sew down of the net. And now that I'm finished sewing down the net, this is the part where we're gonna go ahead and cut away at the net and cut anywhere where we don't want net, which is gonna be in the front. You see all this excess net that I'm cutting off. We don't want that hanging off in the front because it'll definitely show when you sew down your hair. So we're gonna cut in the front, work our way all the way around to the back, and then we're gonna move on to cutting away at where our leave out is gonna be. Now at that part, you want to be very tedious because there have been some times where I've cut away at my leave out while I'm trying to cut away at the net. So I personally learned my lesson and learned from me that even though this is sped up, this is the part where you want to take your time, because we don't want to cut any hair out. That's a big no-no. So once I finish cutting out the back, I'm gonna go and use my finger as a guide just to make space between where the braid is of my leave out and where I had sewed down at the net, because again, like I said, we do not want to cut our hair out. That is, yeah, that's a no. So yeah, after I finish doing that, I'm going to show you guys a 360 of what my head is looking like when we're done cutting away at all the net. Look how nice and flat that looks, you guys. No lumps and bumps or anything. Now moving on to these bundles. Again, it's from Triippy Raw Hair bundles. They sent me 4 body wave bundles in the inches 22 inches. Now these bundles came nice, thick and full, and it came full all the way into the ends too, which I loved, because I know some bundles come very thin, but these did not. They are full from top to bottom, which I love. And now this is what the hair is looking like when it's unraveled. I did notice that the wefts are a little bit smaller, but even though the wefts are small, these bundles are still very thick. Now moving on to just going into install these bundles. I personally like to double up the weft, especially when I have more than 3 bundles, just so that I can make sure that I have enough room to install the bundles, because if I were to go one by one, I might not be able to install the bundles, especially since I have a small head. So I'm just going around, going underneath the bottom of my braids when I do that first row of sewing down the weft. And then once I get all the way to the end, which when I start by the back of my ear, and then I go all the way to the other side of the back of my other ear, and then I do what's called a flip over method, where I flip over the weft, and then after I flip over the weft, I sew on top of it so that we're not cutting any wefts or doing anything like that. I do cut my wefts, but I cut it more towards the end. But in the beginning, on like my first 2 or 2.5 bundles, I don't cut the wefts at all. But like I said, I just sew on top of that flip over that I just did, and then I just continue to sew on the other side, and honestly I just repeat all the way until I get to the top, which you guys will see in these next few clips. So now I'm moving on to my second bundle, which you guys will see that I do the second bundle kind of at a curve. Personally, especially when it comes to my side parts, when I start sewing down towards the front, I like to angle it at a curve so that when I get to the top and I keep on curving the bundles in that way that you guys see me doing it now, it eventually fall in front of my face, which you guys will see how it falls in front of my face towards the end of the video when I finish up. Now you guys will be seeing me go from the front all the way around to the back, and then this is where I start to sew on the other side. Now even when I do start to, go from the back and then go to the other side and start to sew by the front of my ear, you guys will see that when I do go sew on the other side by the front of my ear, I'm just taking the weft, flipping it over, sewing on top of that flip over, and then making my way all the way back to the other side. When it comes to doing a sew-in, it's honestly very repetitive. Just sewing, flip over, sew over the flip over, and then continue to the other side and continue to do the same thing. So once you have it down pat, it's honestly going to be so easy and so simple. Now this is what 2 bundles is looking like, or how far it has gotten me. Like I said, you guys see where I curved toward the front of my head with the bundles. Now I'm gonna go in and close up the rest with the rest of the bundles. Now at the top, I like to sew my hair at a horizontal instead of vertical, because like I said in the beginning, I like for my hair to fall directly into my face. I don't like it to sew vertical because it kind of makes my forehead look a little bit bigger. So I like to sew it vertical so that my hair falls in front of my face. And then also when you do sew your hair like this, or when you sew it vertical, when the hair tends to grow out, it also looks 10 times better, honestly, in my opinion. And also when it comes to a side part, like I want a real side part, like I want a deep side part bang. So if you like a side part that is very deep, like in your face, this is a very good tip for you to sew your bundles in front of your face horizontally instead of vertically. Now in these few clips, you guys will be seeing me close up that gap so that then we can finish the whole sew-in and then work on styling the hair as a whole. Now, once I made it to this point, I ended up getting 3 bundles in my head, is what you guys see so far. Now, honestly, I know, you know, and we know that a 4th bundle is not going to fit all the way in that small little gap that we have left to fill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double up the weft, measure it, cut it, and then sew it down. I really wanted to get all 4 bundles into my head, but like I said, I have a small head, so honestly it was very hard for me to get all 4 bundles, especially since toward the top I didn't double weft them like I should have. I probably should have double wefted them, because if I would have double wefted all of the bundles, I probably maybe could have got all of them in, but I ended up using 3.5 bundles. So a half bundle I just, or the rest of that half bundle I just stick to the side. But even with 3.5 bundles, my hair came out very full. So yeah, in these next few clips, you guys are just going to be seeing me, close up this gap so that we can finish the whole entire sew-in and move on to styling, like I said.
Not that I don't want you here. It's something for you every time I try to resist. We can get away, come chase beach views and then every day. All I wanna hear is an visions that we play. Sit right next to you. I try not to show how I feel about you. Think I wish away. Really, really wanna, I just wanna get away. Sit right next to you. I think I need you here. That's why it's time to keep these feelings to myself. Now you're the one I'm thinking of. My higher ground, my rocket love.
Now this is what it's looking like after I finished installing 3.5 bundles of the Triippy Raw Hair Body Wave texture. I also wanted to show you guys what the top of my hair is looking like as well. Now I went in with a blow dryer on high heat just to kind of, you know, let the poof go down a little bit and make some of the hair a little bit straighter because it was a little poofy. And I don't know if I mentioned beforehand, but I didn't wash this hair or anything. I just went straight in and installed the bundles. So once I finished, you know, giving it a little blow dry and making it just a tad bit straighter, all I do is go in with some bundles, go in and cut some layers, and I'm cutting at a diagonal. Honestly, I've just been feeling layers lately, and I feel like layers when it comes to long hair just looks better. Personally, me, I love a face framing traditional sew-in. So all I do is go in and add some layers and then go in with my flat iron to curl the hair as well, and then I'm done. And if you're wondering how long it took me to do this install, I want to say it usually takes me about an hour for the braid down, and then it takes me about 2.5 to 3 hours depending on how many bundles I'm using to install the bundles or sew them down. So I want to say a total of 4 to 4.5 hours. Honestly, when I first started as a beginner, it used to take me like 6 or 7 hours, but honestly, since I've been doing them for so long, I move a little bit quicker. So don't be too mad with yourself if you're taking a very long time to complete this style. Honestly, it takes a lot of patience, especially when you want to come out with a very good, nice and flat install. Now, if you made it this far in the video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe down below. And in these next few clips, you guys will just be seeing me finish up the style. Shout out again to Triippy Raw Hair bundles. Again, you guys can find this on Amazon, and they have the #1 selling raw hair on Amazon apparently, so you guys should definitely go check them out. Link is going to be down below in the description box.